Blue marlin are sport fish royalty. They can weigh up to a ton and measure over 16 feet. These fish are so big, so strong and elusive, that the technology didn't even exist to catch them until the early 1930s. That's when author Ernest Hemingway became a pioneer of the sport. It would later feature heavily in his novel The Old Man and the Sea, and sparked the imaginations of anglers around the world.
Marlin fishing is hours and hours and hours of just looking at lines, and then complete insanity for 5 minutes.
Today, the sport helps fuel an enormous recreational fishing industry, and much of it is situated on the Carolina coast, which also happens to be the site of one of the most celebrated fishing tournaments in the world.
It's electric, and every year it just seems to get bigger and bigger.
Winning the Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament is very prestigious. I think it's the largest Blue Marlin tournament in the world now.
I'm Anissa Khalifa. This is The Broadside, where we tell stories from our home at the crossroads of the South. This week, we follow the drama, the science, and the money behind the hunt for North Carolina's $1 million fish. There's nothing quite like a good fishing story, and Ashley Blue has one of the most incredible ones you'll ever hear.
Once you see that fish crash on that rod, that reel go off, it's a sound you'll never forget. And the adrenaline rush you get of hooking in and fighting a fish for that amount of time, it'll change your life.
Ashley is the owner of the Sensation, a 52-foot-long charter boat based out of Morehead City on the North Carolina coast. For a fee, the crew of the Sensation will take anglers out onto the Atlantic to catch virtually any sport fish. But we called him up to talk about one fish, and one fish only.
I would highly suggest anybody that hasn't try marlin fishing because it's an addiction.
People travel thousands of miles for a chance to reel in one of these giants. But Ashley doesn't have to go very far, because the waters off of his home port are teeming with marlin. So much so that Morehead City is the site of one of the biggest fishing competitions on the planet, the Big Rock Blue Marlin Tournament.
There is this giant excitement level for this tournament as we build up to it.
I don't know of any captain that doesn't want to fish this.
The Big Rock is the greatest Blue Marlin tournament in the world, period.
Welcome to Big Rock Landing.
Bring him up, really. If he doubles on that line, you'll lose him.
Up on the left short, pounded the $1,678,000. This is your
I've grown up watching that tournament grow and being part of it, and the excitement is overwhelming. It's the Super Bowl of billfish tournaments on the East Coast.
Every year in June, anglers gather in Morehead City for a chance at the ultimate prize. Back in 2023, the relatively modest Sensation competed against 270 other boats. The full entry fee for the tournament can be as high as $50,000, and that doesn't even include operating costs. So Ashley split the total with 24 crew members. Even he admits it was a long shot bid.
We're out there competing against the world's best fishermen and the world's best equipment, and we're kind of like a little charter boat with inexperienced guys and no omni sonar, so we can't really tell where the fish are. We're fishing old school. So we were competing with the Michael Jordans. Really qualified teams that's all they do day in and day out.
And I just want to be clear here. When Ashley says he was competing against the Michael Jordan of marlin fishing, he literally means Michael Jordan.
I do.
Jordan owns a $12 million, 82-foot-long fishing boat and is a regular at tournaments.
Jordan and his crew reeled in that massive 442-pound Blue Marlin Tuesday in a big fishing tournament off the coast of North Carolina, Jordan's home state. More than 200 boats are competing.
The odds were stacked against the Sensation, but with the clock winding down, they sunk a shot that even Jordan couldn't make.
On the last day, within the last hour before lines were out, we ended up hooking up with a 619.4 pound blue marlin.
And after wrestling with the fish for 6 hours, Ashley and his crewmates finally brought it aboard the boat and headed to Morehead City.
Ended up getting in about 11:30 at night to about 13,000 people down around Big Rock Landing, one of the biggest turnouts the tournament's ever seen.
The Sensations Marlin appeared to be a winner, and the massive crowd cheered as they pulled the giant fish onto the scale. But then, a hush fell over the dock.
And that's when it was brought to light.
Okay, guys, let's talk about the rules here for a second. Let me go get them. It would appear that this fish has been bitten by a shark.
So here's the problem. When a blue marlin gets hooked on a line, it becomes an easy target for the ultimate predators of the sea, sharks. And at the Big Rock tournament, if a marlin has been mutilated by a shark during the fight, it doesn't count.
Said they were going to wait till the next day to kind of make a decision on the fish, and the next morning they disqualified it.
And that decision cost the crew of the Sensation not one, not two, but
$3.5 million.
So would it be safe to say that some of these animals are $1 million fish?
Yes, that would be very safe to say.
Neal Conoley is the former head of the North Carolina Aquarium Society. He's also writing a forthcoming history book about the Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament. Neal says the amount of money on the line at these competitions means that they take the rules very seriously.
The tournament, like other tournaments, uses a polygraph.
Really?
If a fish is landed, they do an interview, and if there's discrepancies, they research that. And
So they have to take a lie detector test to make sure that what they say about how they caught the fish is true?
That's correct. And they have to have some video evidence as well.
That level of meticulous documentation removes any doubt, even the little white lies that have come to make fish stories famous. But Neal says sometimes reality truly is stranger than fiction. One of his favorite stories is about a New Jersey state senator competing in the Big Rock in the 70s who caught a bale of marijuana.
And so they brought it on the boat. Local police came over and estimated the value at about $75,000, so they turned it over to the police.
That's a big catch.
Yeah, big catch for them, yeah.
And then there are the record breakers.
The largest marlin that's been landed in the Big Rock tournament to date was a little over 900 pounds.
Wow.
That fish was so big that he got stuck in the transom door when they were getting him on board. And so they tried 2 or 3 different things. They tried putting soap on him and tried to slide him in. That didn't work, so they decided.
Sorry, I'm just visualizing this image of them soaping up a 900-pound fish.
I know.
That marlin, caught in 2019, was worth nearly $800,000. While the prize money might sound mind-boggling, Neal is quick to point out that the Big Rock is actually run by nonprofit organizations. Since the first tournament in 1957, they've helped raise money for local charities. And the tournament also gives back to the region in other ways.
The economic impact is significant, millions of dollars, every year.
And that doesn't stop when the tournament is over and the tourists leave town. The marlin economy just keeps on churning.
There are a lot of boat builders on the coast of North Carolina.
Yeah. Tell me about specifically the boats. Like how does that work? How does it interact with the shipbuilding industry?
Well, North Carolina is a mecca for boat builders. The Carolina Flare style of boat, which is the bow of the boat, is distinctive It's known around the world. People come from all over to have their custom boats built in North Carolina.
Like how much would an average boat that you get built custom cost?
A custom sport fishing boat in the 60-foot range is probably $4 million and up.
Wow.
And there, I've heard of people that have spent $15 million to have a sport fishing boat built.
All told, the state's saltwater sport fishing industry props up a massive local economy that ranks second in the nation behind only Florida. According to a 2022 study from NOAA, it supports 12,000 jobs and generates nearly $1.6 billion in annual sales. For the coastal communities and the anglers, it's a win-win. But what about the fish? Are there enough marlin in the sea for the fun to last forever?
Blue marlin are considered vulnerable, and that's not just in the Atlantic.
We'll dive into that after a short break.
Marlin fishing is hours and hours and hours of just looking at lines and then complete insanity for 5 minutes.
John Graves is a scientist who isn't afraid to get a little soggy.
For really big fish, it can be very hectic, and especially with billfish. When a billfish gets on, all hell breaks loose on the boat.
John's a retired marine biologist and professor with the Virginia Institute of Marine Science. He's also an amateur angler.
Yeah, my wife always thought it was criminal that I was getting paid to go fishing. I've been in situations where the fish just go absolutely ballistic while you're clearing the lines and backing down, and the fish just jumped the whole time. It was like it was allergic to water.
In his career, John's research focused on different types of billfish, like swordfish, sailfish, and of course, the blue marlin.
Now, blue marlin, they're anywhere from the ones that we see off North Carolina, from 100 pounds to over 1,000 pounds. So they get big.
These massive fish are a prized catch in a competition like the Big Rock. But environmentally, reeling in a winner can come with a cost.
If you look at the most recent assessment, the blue marlin are overfished, so they're considered vulnerable.
John says the biggest threat to billfish by far is commercial fishing. Marlin isn't common cuisine here in the United States, but it is in other countries.
The fishing mortality from the commercial fisheries dwarfs the recreational.
But sport fishing isn't completely off the hook. So is the Big Rock tournament helping or hurting with conserving the blue marlin?
It's a bit of both.
First, let's talk about the risks. Tournaments like Big Rock have strict rules on the size and weight for a catch to qualify. A marlin has to be at least 400 pounds for it to count. But before you can weigh it, first you gotta reel it in. And that can pose a serious risk for the fish.
So a lot of people want to get that hero shot. You caught the fish and you bring it out of the water. Turns out that's not very good for the fish.
John says that billfish are unique because they can only breathe if they're moving forward in the water. So if you're fighting with a marlin, tugging it every which way out of the water, it's not going to feel great.
I liken that to someone chasing me around quarter-mile track, and I'm running as fast as I can, and when I'm done, I get there and they put my head in a bucket of water.
Oh, wow.
So I can't breathe. I'm going to be in, stress right away. And so when you bring the fish out of water, you are really reducing its chances of survival.
But increasingly, serious anglers understand these potential harms. And John says many see the sport not only as a competition, but as an opportunity to learn more about their catch.
There is definitely fishing mortality in the tournament, but they're also promoting research and doing a lot of other things that are helping to conserve.
John has been at the forefront of that conservation effort, working closely with anglers and tournaments to promote sustainable fishing. That includes the use of certain hooks that limit injuries to the fish, and encouraging catch and release, meaning if a catch isn't the right size and weight, you toss it back in the water. And he says those efforts have paid off.
I think anglers realized that, they didn't need to take all the fish if they wanted to catch the fish. And in the recreational community, you had this rapid adoption of catch and release fishing. If someone was bringing in a fish that they just caught and it wasn't in a tournament, they were kind of poo-pooed.
Surprisingly, John says a lot of the big fish caught in competitions are now donated for research.
Those fish that are brought in, they're going to have their stomach contents analyzed. They're going to be sexed. They're going to get measurements on them. So a lot of information from each fish. And it's a two-way street. It's great.
And that's where anglers like Aaron Barr come back into the picture.
Anytime I can get on the water is a good time. Sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it doesn't. But the thing that brings us back is the chance that it will.
Aaron is the first mate on the Never Enough, a charter boat based out of Morehead City.
So I am responsible for everything where the magic happens. Rigging baits, setting lines, helping anglers reel in fish, all that stuff.
Right now, Aaron and his crewmates are gearing up to compete in the Big Rock tournament, which is expecting a record turnout this year.
It's electric. I think last year they broke another record with 300 and some odd boats.
What are you hoping for in this year's Big Rock tournament?
Catch the winning fish. Catch a 600-pound blue marlin. Yeah. Just getting ready for the grind. It's going to be a long week, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, Aaron admits coming away with the prize money wouldn't be too bad. But like John Graves, Aaron sees his time out on the water not as a battle with the ocean, but as an opportunity to learn more about it, admire its beauty, and to ensure that future generations can do the same.
I grew up fishing and hunting and all that stuff, and it's just something that brings me joy. I grew up doing freshwater, and then I was stationed in Hawaii, and I fell in love with saltwater fishing. Not only fishing, but diving and all that other stuff too. Just being in the water. It's a whole different world. It drowns out everything that's going on around you, and you just focus on what you're seeing.
So for you, what's the appeal of being an angler? What keeps bringing you back every time?
It's therapy. Being out on the ocean is calming. I don't sleep good. So being out there, it's peaceful. And it's actually not the fish that I catch. It's sharing my passion with other people, giving them the opportunity to experience what it is. And you don't catch fish all the time. You maybe catch one or two, and some days it's a trip of a lifetime. You put a bunch of fish in the box, but it's just sharing that passion with people that are passionate about what you're passionate about.
Thank you, Aaron. Good luck at the competition.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
The 67th annual Big Rock Tournament runs from June 6th to June 15th in Morehead City. In addition to the Never Enough, the field will also include Ashley Blue and the crew of the Sensation, who are still trying to reel in the big prize. This episode was produced by Charlie Shelton Ormond and our editor, Jared Walker. Our executive producer is Wilson Sayre. The Broadside is a production of WUNC North Carolina Public Radio and is part of the NPR network. If you have feedback or a story idea, you can email us at broadside@wunc.org. If you enjoyed the show, leave us a rating, a review, or share it with a friend. I'm Anissa Khalifa. Thanks for listening, y'all. We'll be back next week.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of Cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.